Están ustedes en sintonía de Tertulia. Soy Raquel con ustedes hasta las 10 de la noche. Les había comentado que tengo dos invitados. Vamos a conversar con ellos porque sé que están listos y deseosos de compartir información. Los veo allí a los dos sonrientes. I see my two guests are ready and eager to go on the air. I see them both smiling, yes, big smiles. And my guests tonight, Sylvia Galván and Miguel Arce, both members of the Carlos Vega Fund for Social Justice to the Greater Holyoke area. Buenas noches y bienvenidos a Tertulia. ¿Cómo está?
Muy bien, muchas gracias. And thank you for having us tonight.
Sylvia, thank you very much for acknowledging the good work that Raquel does for us. We know that she's the queen of all things cultura latina. I love the music. We love the fact that you always have information sessions and that you bring on guest speakers. So thank you very much.
I thank you. Thank you for coming tonight. I know it's a little difficult sometimes to come on Sunday nights, but even more important than thank you so very much. And let's talk about this organization, Miguel and Sylvia. First of all, this is the Carlos Vega Fund. And I know that you both were good friends of Carlos, and you both can tell me your side of who was Carlos Vega. You can start. Either one of you, doesn't matter.
Okay. Carlos Vega was born in Ecuador and came to the Holyoke area when he was about 5 years old. He was a product of the Holyoke Public Schools, and he graduated from UMass with a bachelor's degree in Amherst. I met him around 1979, 1980, around that time, when I was the director of Casa Latina in Northampton, and he was the director of a sister agency in Holyoke. So the two of us joined with, at that time, the director of another sister organization in Springfield, and we collaborated at the state level. The three cities needed support, monetary support for services for the Latino community. So the three of us collaborated, went to state meetings, and that's how, I began to have my working friendship with Carlos. Later on, I worked with him organizing voter registration in Holyoke. On Saturdays, we used to stand outside supermarkets in Holyoke, and anybody that was coming in and out, we will ask, are you registered to vote? Yes, no, why not? And we registered people right there and then. And then on election day, whether it was national elections or local elections or state elections, after 3 o'clock when schools close, I will jump on Carlos's car, and he will have a loudspeaker on the roof, and we will put a salsa tape when there were tapes, and we will go around the neighborhoods calling attention with the music. Then we had a microphone, and we'll invite people to go to vote. Some people used to come out of their windows and, let us know, well, I don't have transportation. Don't worry, we'll take you. So we will take people to wherever they were supposed to vote. Some people didn't know what ward they were registered, so we had the lists with us of the city wards, and we'll inform them, and if they needed transportation, we'll give it to them. So we did that year after year. That was my wonderful work with Carlos at that time.
And you, Miguel?
So thank you, Raquel. I guess more than the specific things that I did with Carlos, I would like to speak about who he was as a human being, his values and stuff. And so I would identify 3 values that he displayed every single day. His commitment to social justice, and thus the formation of the Carlos Vega Fund for Social Justice. So his value for social justice, his ability to see the dignity and worth of every single person, He really saw the divinity of individuals, the uniqueness of individuals, and he worked for the most oppressed people, and he was able to see beyond what they look like. And I guess the final value that I saw him display throughout the time that I knew him was service. He was totally committed to service. So social justice, service, and seeing the dignity and worth of every single human being, that was Carlos Vega.
Mm-hmm. And did he focus more on the Latino population or not?
So I think that it would be fair to say that he worked with the population that was most disenfranchised. Since he grew up in Holyoke, and his principal work was in Holyoke, and he worked with the most oppressed people in Holyoke, and that was in the lower wards of Holyoke. So it was areas that are still, even today, principally housing low-income Latinos, and even more specifically Puerto Ricans.
Mm-hmm. And how was he as a person, other than what you have described? Was he optimistic, upbeat? Or was he maybe not so optimistic? And how?
Okay, so maybe I could bring it up in two parts. First, his personal characteristics. So he was extremely industrious. He was a man of high integrity. He was reliable if he said he would do stuff. He was enthusiastic about the ability to make a difference. So that's his personal side. On the professional side, he was just a professional, consummate professional, community organizer, community developer, community leader. He really understood how to engage people, how to work with people. He showed people always his authentic self. He was able to assess situations at both an individual level and at a more macro level. He was very much involved in city politics, and so he was able to see, solutions. He wasn't only strictly identifying problems, but is always trying to find solutions.
That was one of the things that I was going to ask you, if he had a chance to see. And I say he had a chance because he's no longer with us. When he was the leader of many of these organizations, did he achieve anything? I know you mentioned that he was not so much as worried about the doing, but maybe preparing, trying to see how the problems would be solved. But was there a direct result of these efforts?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Carlos was involved in politics. He was involved in housing. He was involved in health. He was involved in political activities. So he saw his efforts really manifest itself. I mean, even from high school, he was the principal writer of, I believe it was called El Espina, right? The Thorn. And even in high school, and so he was involved in seeing real results because of his activities.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Is there anything else that you would like to add to this, Sylvia?
Well, at the personal level, Carlos also was an avid movie. He was into movies. He liked to watch movies.
Really?
And he knew, it was fascinating to me too. Like if you ask him, about X movie, he will tell you who the director was, who the actors were, who the screenwriter was. He will give you all kinds of details. We used to hang out with him and go to movies almost every weekend. So it was a lot of fun, not only doing organizing work, but also movies.
Yes.
And then after that, we will go and have a cup of coffee or have dinner and then discuss the movie and talk about and, points of view. So he was really into movies.
Ah, that's great. Yeah. My guests tonight are Sylvia Galván and Miguel Arce, members of the Carlos Vega Fund for Social Justice to the Greater Holyoke area. So then let's move to the second step and
Sure.
how this did this organization come about?
Okay. So just before Carlos passed away, there was a group of people that got together and said, we cannot let his passing go unnoticed. And actually, he was alive when we organized this fund in his name. And he actually sat in the selection of the very first awardees. And so, can I tell you a little bit about the fund? Of course,
please.
Okay. So the fund was established in 2012. And Carlos was still alive. That was the first year of the fund. And then he passed away shortly thereafter. We've awarded $66,000 to 52 organizations. Now, they're small grants. They're mini grants, we call them. And we use these resources. We ask people to use the resources to fund activities that would not be done by traditional funding sources. So 52 organizations have received funds. For example, we've given money to the Homework House, to the Gray House, to the Holyoke Safe Neighborhood Initiative, and a number of other organizations. I could keep going on, but we know that your listeners want to listen to music, right?
Oh, no, this is really interesting information. And Miguel, these awards were only to organizations, not to individuals?
That's right. So all the funds have gone to organizations that have received charitable determination by the Internal Revenue Services. So they have to prove that they're a 501c3, a not-for-profit organization. However, as a result of these resources, we've also identified individuals that we feel that are worthy of being noticed by the community. Some of the people that we've identified in the past, the most recent awardee was Attorney David Hoos, who has a very big reputation in Western Massachusetts and actually right around the world, around the country. Former Superintendent George Counter, former school committee Betty Lichtenstein, the first Latina to be elected in the state of Massachusetts, the Sisters of St. Joseph, Tom and Lois Schwab. Tom Schwab was an attorney that provided a lot of legal counsel to not-for-profit organizations, and Balante, which is a restorative project of the Holyoke public schools.
Mm-hmm. And these awards are always, as you said, for non-profit organizations, but do they have to have a special requirement that you have in order for them to be eligible for these awards?
Sure. So all of the awardees have to show that they're making a significant difference in lives of individuals. They're not big grants. So, for instance, we've funded the cost of the Enchanted Circle undertaking place. So any small activity that they cannot fund through restricted funds, this allows them a little flexibility.
Mm-hmm. And do they have to be accountable to you later on, or no? Once they get the award, they're completely independent to do what they think they need to do?
All we ask of them is that they follow up their proposal with a report at the end of the year. Uh-huh. And it's not a complicated report.
Mm-hmm. And just out of curiosity, do you have an awardee for this year or not yet?
No, we haven't selected. Have we selected? Go ahead, help me.
Yes, we have selected Neftalí Durán.
Tell us, who is Neftalí Durán?
Besides being Mexican, Neftalí is an activist for food rights. He works on food justice, food sovereignty, and the intersection of ending hunger and racism. He was a teenager when he came to California from Oaxaca, Mexico, and he became a migrant worker. Since then, he has worked as a baker, a chef, an educator. Then he got involved in indigenous food sovereignty and justice work, and in 2017 he co-founded the I Collective, which is an advocacy and education group with the aim of building equitable food system and a network for indigenous food leaders. One of his goals is for people to understand that there are indigenous peoples working on food sovereignty throughout the United States. In his day job, he works on No Kid Hungry's Cooking Matters campaign, collaborating with the No Kid Hungry colleagues, including teaching cooking classes to people on SNAP across the state. You know, they have little resources, but how to, feed themselves with the little resources that they have. So he teaches cooking classes, and he really, goes around the state doing that. The indigenous food sovereignty movement recognizes that as indigenous people, ecologically, they are responsible for 85% of the biodiversity in the world, even though they are only 5% of the world's population. Mm. So basically, the indigenous people are the caretakers of Mother Earth.
That is so true. That is so true. Before I forget, is he local or no?
He lives in Holyoke.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes.
Good. I would love to have him as a guest, so maybe you can.
Oh, please do so.
Yes.
Oh, please do so.
Sounds like a very interesting person.
He is. He really is. He's a young man, much younger than all of us.
Everybody's younger than us, I think. And do you have any activities that you do to collect funds? How do you get your funds?
Well, we have an annual letter that we send, for folks to donate money to help us continue this work. But this year we are recognizing it's also the 10th anniversary of Carlos's passing. And so, we chose Neftalí to honor that. And the 1st of October, we are honoring him, remembering Carlos, but also remembering Mary Burks, who is a founding member that passed away very recent. And so October the 1st in Holyoke at the Armour Yard, which is on Ray Street, right outside of the Cubic building, where Holyoke Community College has their culinary school.
Yes, yes.
Right there outside, we're having an event October the 1st from
2 to 5.
2 to 5. Yeah.
It's an outdoors event.
Outdoors.
Good,
outdoors.
Good.
We're going to have music. We're going to have food. Everybody and anybody is invited, and that's where Neftalí is going to be recognized. We're probably also going to have some of the past awardees to inform the people what they have done with the grants that they have received from us.
Very well. Is there anything else that you would like to add before we say
No,
goodnight?
just a deep appreciation for the service that you provide to the Pioneer Valley, including this allowing us to share our experience about Carlos. Thank you very much, Raquel.
Oh, thank you both. It's my pleasure. Thank you very much.
We'd like to see you there. Come and join us.
I will be dancing, Carl, definitely. Dancing is one of the things that I enjoy to do, and you know that.
Yo bailo contigo.
Oh, there you go. I am ready. I have a partner. Yes.
Perfecto.
Muy bien, bailamos.
Bailamos juntas y que
Claro
se venga
que
la
sí.
gente a bailar con nosotros también el 1 de octubre.
And this is free and open to the public.
Correct.
If you want to please say one more time the place, the address, the time.
El 1 de octubre en el Armour Yard, que está en la calle Race en Holyoke, de 2 a 5 de la tarde. Va a haber música, va a haber comida y todos podemos bailar.
Muy bien.
Entonces, todos están invitados.
Muy bien. Recuerden, esto es gratis, con la entrada
Definitivamente.
gratis para todas las personas y de todas las edades. Van a haber bastantes actividades entonces,
Sí,
¿verdad?
sí.
Muy bien. There will be singing and dancing, but a lot of other activities for families, right?
Right.
Yeah, very good.
Join friends there and disfrutar.
very good. We'll see you there then.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much. And again, anytime you would like to come and share more information or activities, maybe, feel free to do so.
We'll be
Thank
here.
you.
Thank you very much. Mis invitados en la noche de hoy fueron Sylvia Galván y Miguel Arce, miembros de el Carlos Vega Fund for Social Justice to the Greater Holyoke area. Están ustedes en sintonía de Tertulia, son las 8:33 de la noche.